shows you things so you know what to pray. I think as believers, we have minimized the art of praying. Don't nobody want to pray. Everybody want to say, just go pray. And next week we'll jump into Acts 12 where we see the power of prayer. Literally get Peter out of prison. They didn't go protest outside the jail and say, let Peter go. No, they literally intercede on his behalf and God changes that thing. And so I think that as believers, we don't want to posture ourselves to pray. And one thing I can tell you about witches in that world, they pray. And some of them have ancient altars that they are operating out of. And we want to try to go and tear it down when we ain't built not an ounce of a prayer life that can stand up against that altar. And so I think that we have to also be aware, right? And use wisdom that says we want to sometimes step into things and against things that we don't actually have you know what I'm saying, capacity for it. So I think that some things can just be built in prayer where God elevates you in the spirit so that you have the power and authority backing whatever you step towards. Because I do believe that God's going to use you in that way because you came out of it. So you understand the language. And so it is this journey with Jesus that shuts the doors or the footholds that the enemy had in your life. So when you do go, there's an authority that you carry that doesn't even have to argue. It just does what it's supposed to do, for sure. So I love that you shared that, and I think that's for all of us. And I think too, I love that you shared. I got to a point where I had the courage to ask the Lord to take it away, because I think so often we go, I'm gonna stop doing this. I'm gonna stop doing this. I can't stop doing anything. In my own strength, I'm gonna miss it every single time. But the moment I say, okay, God, I need you to deal with this thing. I need you to stop this thing. I need you to take away the desire and replace it with a desire and a hunger for you. And he will absolutely do that. I used to curse really bad. And I don't know when I stopped. It just happened. Because I thought I was funnier cursing. It just felt better. The jokes landed easy. You know what I'm saying? They hit better. And then I don't know. I stopped cussing. I saw him back here was it London?
Yeah, I'm still going to piggyback off of what you were saying earlier. You had the question about what do you do in the arguments with friends when you're trying to help them through situations and they get defensive, right? There was a conversation I was having the other day with a friend, and she called me, and I'm talking to her, and she was getting defensive, right? And so I've learned to just have an ear and a heart for people, and not always talk as much, because a lot of times they're talking more than you are, you know what I'm saying? And if you start talking just as much as they are, it makes the tension a little bit stronger. But so in the midst of that, when it gets that tense, it does something to your nervous system, right? So what I did silently while she was still going on was pray. So I prayed that God would disrupt the phone call, right? And so I did, because I wanted to get off the phone, but she kept talking. But I know I needed to be there for her. You know what I'm saying? So I'm disrupt the phone call, and he did. The phone just disconnected on my end. It was a FaceTime call, and it was whatever it said on the screen, but her face wasn't there no more. Right? So she texted me and said, "Oh, my phone went dead." But mind you, I had just said a prayer for God to disrupt this phone call, because sometimes we don't know what to do in those situations, But go back to what Brenda said, the power of prayer is where it's at. You know what I'm saying? And to everybody that said something tonight, whatever it was, whether it was a squirrel at the window, whether it was a hawk falling dead on your car, whatever it was, in the midst of that, the power of prayer will help you through anything that you experience in life. And God will come in a drop of a second to come help you in the situation.
Mike and then Angel.
I debated whether or not I was going to share this, so I definitely will share this, and I know we kind of closing here.
I was thinking I haven't even checked the time. No,
yeah. And the reason why I was debating whether I was going to share this because it deals with somebody else. And so Erica's in the UK, and she's with her mom's not well. So she's been in the hospital, and her mom was kind of really took a turn for the worse. Got to the point where doctors had come in and really hadn't been doing anything, and kind of was just I think we need to talk about just transitioning. And in that moment, Erica and her family had been really doing like hardcore praying. And Erica told me that, at that moment, like something told her, like, yeah, no, that's not what we're doing. And so just told them, no, we're not going to do that. We're fine. We're believers and we're going to believe on God. And so they went into prayer some more about health and what God is doing. And then like 10 minutes later, some nurse kind of disappeared and like walked in the room and was like, asked them what was going on. Are you being helped? Are they taking care of you? Blah, blah, blah. And they were like, no, actually, no, they're not doing anything, blah, blah. And so 5 minutes later, walked out, came back in, had people to come do tests, had people come do all these other things, found out what the problem was. Within 3 hours, her mom was doing better, was up, was walking around, was like doing much better. And here's the thing, this person was not even like supposed to be there. She was like a research nurse who had just showed up and was like, hey, what do you need? And then all these things happened, put these things into motion, and then her mom was doing better. So just this idea of like praying and staying faithful, combined with having that power of hearing God saying, yeah, no, like don't go ahead with this. Like there's something more, right? Tell them no. I really felt like that was the enemy kind of like, nah, we got her. We're just gonna keep her here and let her waste away. Whereas God was like, no, I got something more. And so, that prayer time and being faithful really helped her mom take the transition. And so I wanted to share that.
Thank you for sharing that. And then Angel.
So I was going to speak on, like you were saying, about the power of prayer and how important it is and how real it is. I would say I got closest to God in one of the darkest times of my life. My brother had passed in 2018, and I was just like in a really dark space for about like 2 years, I would say. But I literally prayed like almost every day. And while praying, I had faith in God, that I wouldn't always be in that space and that I would heal from that pain. And like you said, like, you don't know when you stop cursing, like it was just one day, like just one day I started to feel better. And I could look back on that, like prayer actually works. And it's really important to pray and to ask God for the things that you really want, because He will fulfill them. And after that, experiencing that, it just made me want to, encourage other people to pray. And even at times when they didn't really believe it, I'm like, you have to pray, you have to ask God for what you want, and you have to really be intentional about what you're praying about. And that testimony, I guess, just really helped me to share with other people and to encourage other people to pray and to let them know how important it was.
To speak on that really quick, it's crazy because after she had went through what she went through, I had like a crazy situation for me, and I went through a dark space. And she was constantly like, just pray, just pray. And I was kind of like such in a dark space in that moment. I was like, I don't want to pray. Like, like I was just upset at what was going on and not understanding like the whys to it. So I was like, I already prayed and this is happening. I don't want to pray. But I remember her like always saying like, just pray, just pray, just pray. And to that point is that eventually I was like, okay, I surrendered to God. And I was like, I'm sorry. I was angry, and I just started slowly praying and it did work out, So it's like sometimes God uses people to go through their situation to be able to help someone else in their situation. You know what I mean? So definitely what she went through helped me get through what I was going through.
I love that. All right. Oh. Y'all here tonight. All right. Okay. Your hand was first, then behind you, and then Michaela, you can close it out.
I just want to give gratitude because as you were speaking about prayer, God gave me a prophetic word to myself that I needed. Like, I've been like, God, what is it? Finally got it. And the word was, He took me back to a few years ago. It might be like 4 years ago, maybe. I did a daily prayer on Zoom. And so this daily prayer on Zoom lasted for 8 months, but it was supposed to be a year-long daily prayer. And so it blessed my life so much to be able to serve, I guess, people in this way, to host like this ongoing, like 8 months straight, but I dropped the ball. The Lord said 365 days. And those times, like, it was heaven for my life. And I'm like, I've been wondering what's been going on for real, like what's been really wrong, because I've been enduring, but like it's crazy. And so God just reminded me, you didn't finish the assignment, go ahead and start that again. So I turned 30 on August 16th, and he's just showing me, amen, he's showing me like, for 3 years, this is gonna sound crazy because like Jesus did ministry, for like 30 to I feel like I'm in my Jesus year, like go ahead and start again, because that ended up like blowing up, and it just became such a thing that people were hungry for, were excited. People would be going to the club and they're like, I got midnight prayer. And they'd have to like go to the stalls and they're like, I'm sorry, I'm at the club, but yeah, I have to tune in. It was like that serious. And people were tuning in from all over the world. And so he was just saying like, there's a lot of burdens that are waiting and craving for that, midnight prayer. And that it will restore back the things that I've lost, because I've gone through so much homelessness. Everything keeps getting taken away every like time I get stuff, my places, everything. It's just been nuts. But like now that like when you said that, I just had like an entire vision of how it's going to go moving forward. And I was like, Lord, what do I focus on when it comes to like focusing on your work that you've told me to do? And he said, go back to where I had you start and finish the assignment. And so thank you for that. And I guess that's like, we're going to see how it goes. I'll come back and share. Behind me. Here you go.
Okay, so quick story or testimony about obedience and prayer. I have a group of male friends. We've been friends since teenagers. We played travel co-ed basketball together. And still friends to this day. 2 of them moved into an apartment together. They're like, Lee, come check it out. Cool. Went over there. And I walked in and God immediately said, stop. And he was like, look, turn my head this way, little boo-boo doll right there. Turn my head that way, one staring at me that way, one over here. And I was like, what y'all doing with all these demons in here? Don't know where it came from. My friend's girlfriend ended up coming out the room and she was like, oh, those are mine. And I was like, wait, your stuff is here? She's like, yeah, I moved in too. I was like, okay, so there's 2 strikes right here. And I was like, these are demons, right? And she said, well, there's no God, so there's no demons. We all were like, wait, what? And even the boyfriend, my friend was like, wait, what? Let's go in the room and let's talk about this. So my other friend, we were sitting together and he's like, Leanna, you're always starting stuff. And I was like, and I'm going to finish it. Dear Lord. And I start praying and I start rebuking all the demons out of there. And I asked God, I was like, please don't let there be let them feel instability and no peace in this house until they leave. And when they leave, make sure my friend, he's not getting super sad because he's kind of emotional. So he doesn't get super sad and he's able to move on. Not 2 weeks later, he texts the group and is like, oh, I'm single. We all go over there. We're talking about it. And he was like, she said like she was carrying the relationship. She didn't feel stable. She didn't feel like there was any peace in here. And she just came home, got all of her stuff and left. Wow. And I'm not really tripping over it. Like I haven't cried not once. Like I'm just here. So just that power of obedience and prayer, and you never know who else it's going to bless. Yeah. Because even in that moment, I didn't know that would be something big. Like I was just like, that's my friend. Like, let's pray. Let's get it out of here. And to see it all come full circle around, I didn't even remember about the first initial situation until I came to Bible study here tonight. Mm-hmm. And God was like, go ahead and share. Oh,
amen. Short story. I want to talk about the power of prayer. Earlier this year, in January, I went home, and it was just like just going home, like nothing, important really. I had a 6 a.m. flight. When I landed, my dad picked me up, and he was like, "Oh, let's go pick up your dog." And I was like, "No, we can wait." But I think something like, I guess, overcame him just to go home. Because in my head, I'm thinking, just drop me off at my mom's house. I want to go to sleep. So we got there. We saw that my grandfather, he had a fall, and like he had blood gushing out his head. So we were like, okay, well, we're glad that we came in the time that we did, because who would have known another 10, 20 minutes we could have lost him. So he was in the hospital. He got better. He was in and out of the hospital, but I wouldn't say it was too detrimental to where it was like, okay, like it's over. Like he's getting older. We're just watching his health, a new health regimen. In June, I went home again, another 6 a.m. flight, nothing like too important. Or actually, go back. So it was Father's Day, and I'm FaceTiming him. He's in the hospital. He's up. He's alert. He's making jokes. He's he's talking to my dad and my cousins and telling them about this dream he had and how he was mad at them because they took him to a whorehouse. And he was like, "You guys, you left me, and she ran and she took all my money." And he was like really so upset, but he was just up, and he was just so much energy, and he was just talking to us, smiling, and like I'm just, like just loving the fact that he's up, he's alert. So I ended up going home, just really to drop off my dog and just see my family. Another 6 a.m. flight, and we're like, okay, let's go see Pawpaw. We go in the hospital, and things are like horrible. And I forgot to mention too, so earlier that week, things were happening, and basically I got a message from God that was like, timing is of the essence. But in my head, I was thinking it was something good. So when we got there, the doctors came in, and they're telling us like, oh, like it was a complete shift. Like he wasn't talking. When you walk in the room, his eyes were open, and he's trying to like look around, turn his head, acknowledge you, and talk to you, but nothing is coming out. But his eyes are open. He's not really blinking. And so they're telling us, like the only thing that's keeping him alive is this medicine. Like all his functions, his heart, like it's the medicine. If we take this medicine away, he's not going to live. And so we were like, okay, well, we don't want him to be in pain. We don't want him to suffer. So we're like, they're going to give us like a few hours and to gather family up here. And then they're going to take the medicine away and let him transition. So more family came up there. A minister, friend of the family, she came, and we were just standing around him. And we didn't take the medicine away. Like he's still up. He's looking at us. And eyes are open, and we're all around him, and they're praying. And I'm looking at the monitor because, like, as we're praying, the numbers just start going down. And to me, it was just like the power of prayer, because, like, her words, how she was speaking, it just felt like so strong and powerful. And like he was transitioning as she was praying. Like the medicine, his vitals were like, before we did that, it was still staying at like a level where he was still alive. But like her praying and like praying for his transition and like letting him know that it was okay. He did a great job here on this earth, and just asking God to guide him. And about time like the prayer was over, he was already gone. And so to me, it was just like, wow, like that's really the power of prayer, because it's like physically, man, we did not remove that medicine to make your vitals go down to zero, And I just felt like too, it's like, okay, wow, like you're giving me another lesson. Like you still teaching me like as you're transitioning. And so to me, it was just like, you really just made my faith in God even stronger, So that was just what I wanted to share. Just the power of God and prayer.
Thank you for sharing that with us. I think the other picture too is that was also God healing him.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't always see it that way, but it is like that is still God like fulfilling his word that by his stripes we were healed. It just happened on the other side. So thank you for sharing that a little bit. Anybody else?
Really quick. So I have a story. Grace, you mentioned evangelism. Okay, so y'all know the Jehovah's Witnesses, right? The Jehovah's Witnesses, they having the annual conference. So if y'all got a heart for the lost, if y'all like to go out and evangelize, plant seeds,
come to this.
Wait, when is it?
Maybe I should take a picture and post it. But it's 3 days. So it's August 8th, August 9th, and then August 10th. I
This
think.
weekend?
Yeah. Listen, I just got this. Okay.
That's this weekend.
This weekend.
It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday,
Yeah.
right?
So, pray about it. If you led to go, cool. Let's go plant some seeds. You know what I'm saying? And yeah.
Drop
y'all let
it
me
in
know.
the
we just
Grace
go plant seeds.
Let's be clear on what we going
Well, obviously we're not about to go and be like, y'all right, Jehovah Witness. Y'all, you know what?
First of all, you called my name.
You know
You
what?
said Evangelism. Now, just to be clear, why are we going?
My bad. The Jehovah Witnesses, they not like
They're not
us.
saved.
You know what I'm saying?
They need Jesus.
They don't believe that Jesus is God. So like, yeah. So that's
So
my
you
bad.
are
I should've-
inviting people who want to go and tell the people at the conference.
and
They don't
plant
have
seeds.
windows. So how are you going to get in?
What you mean?
Is it open? The Jehovah Witness things don't usually have
It's
windows.
free.
Oh, it's free. Is it open to the public?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. Talking about they don't have windows. What you mean?
they buildings don't have windows.
It depends.
The hall, the
Huh?
Kingdom Hall.
It depends on,
Yeah, they
on which
don't.
one you go to.
Really?
The
You've
ones-
seen a
the one
Jehovah
in
Witness temple
Ontario?
has windows?
The one in Ontario, they had it at the last year. They had it at the Toyota Center, and
That is huge.
and